Welcome to the Rovertime podcast, episode number 7. All right, today we got me, Mark Wazz. We have Venne.
Click.
We got Dr. Manhattan.
Click.
Not the real Dr. Manhattan, just some.
Yeah, I can't make anybody explode with a thought.
We got Stan Konopka.
Clicked.
Ryan.
Click.
And last but not least, fighting out of the German corner, minding freedom.
Click.
All right, so we got some of us have mugs today. What do you? Who else has mugs right now? All right, what are you guys drinking?
Water.
Water.
Well, you're not part of the club. You're supposed to be drinking Covfefe.
Yeah, right? See, I'm the one actually drinking coffee, though.
You just ruined it. Well, I'm drinking tea, but if you're cool enough, it's Covfefe if you want it to be. All right. So we're all ready to go. A lot kind of happened this week, but we're just going to focus on a few things so that we have, more time to talk about each thing.
Some semblance of timing and consistency and whatnot. Basically.
Yeah. First thing though, I was speaking of Covfefe. I still think that Trump is playing like interdimensional chess.
He might be.
Because he probably did realize that he made a typo right away, but then he saw the reaction. He's just
he probably
was up there and see what happens. Just to prove that.
I feel like he knew he made a typo, but when he realized it, he was like, "Oh man, I made a typo. Fuck it." That'll give the Kekistani something to laugh at for a while.
I mean, pretty much. I mean,
that'll make CNN think.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
So it's a bust.
Yep.
I mean, I had a funny analogy, but I forget what it was. But if people are going to get mad about a typo, I mean, oh yeah, that's right. It's like when Bill Burr says that he doesn't like the thumbs up, thumbs down rating system. It's like you can't differentiate like how bad the thumbs down is. It's like stubbing your toe, thumbs down. Hitler, thumbs down. Like it's the same thing. There's no like varying degrees.
Why Hitler thumbs down? I, as a German, am absolutely offended by that statement.
Good.
Get over it.
No, before anyone takes that out of context, sometime in the future, that was a joke.
But yeah, like I'm saying, I mean, you get people obviously like jumping on the bandwagon, making fun of Trump for a typo. But what happens if he does something that we genuinely don't like? There's no higher level of outrage. It's just
that's the thing. The media
dislike on Twitter
is so crying wolf that every little bit that he does, they turn it. The media seems to have no self-awareness that if they did not make a big deal about these things, they would not turn into the viral, honestly, shit posting to make fun of the media that everyone turns them into. He made a spelling error and they had to jump all over it. And, is he, that he's having some sort of a stroke? Is he losing his mind?
It's like, no, iPhones are just fucking hell to type on.
He typed some word, it didn't spell check, and he hit send.
He was probably trying to delete it too, and it sent instead.
I mean, it's not like this goes through. It's not like an Instagram post that goes through 9 levels of approval. You type, send. So I just.
But yeah, and then the second thing we want to talk about was the Kathy Griffin debacle. I know Stan had something to say about that. So you just give us a quick recap of what happened.
He could not. He could not wait. He could not help himself. I honestly, I didn't have as much of a outrage problem with the original thing as everyone did. I'm like, whatever. It's not a joke. It's not funny. She apologized.
Stupid, basically.
What's that?
You just thought it was someone being stupid, basically.
I thought it was ridiculous. And it's like, then honestly, her face on her apology was more horrifying than the severed Trump head she had. I mean, she looked...
Just her face is more horrifying.
Horrifying. And then comes the press conference where she turns it into the Trumps are bullying her. It turns into essentially patriarchy and how old white men are out to get her, and how if this was a man that had done this, there would not be nearly as much of an outrage. I'm sorry. First of all, has anyone ever seen any other comedian hold up a simulated severed head of a president?
That would be a hard no.
That would be a hard no. So her to say this wouldn't happen to a male, we have nothing to go on. So bullshit. Then, I'm sorry. Let's look at Michael Richards.
Oh, God.
For those who don't know, in a comedy show, he went on a bit of a racist rant, and his career was ruined.
Yep.
Essentially. Look at
Poor Kramer.
Look at Donald Sterling, the former owner of the LA Clippers, who in private, yes, he seemed to be a lifelong racist, but in private made some statements to his mistress, and then he loses his team because of this. Look at Hulk Hogan. Again, in private, made some statements, ends up getting his WWE contract revoked, and he's been out of it. So for her to say this wouldn't happen to a white male is fucking bullshit. And for her to sit there and cry and act like this was all, essentially she turned it into the SJW patriarchy, poor me. I think the where she made an error was she expected backlash from the right, but she did not expect people on her side to react the way they did. And it's like, and she got really taken aback by that, and she had to go on the typical feminist defense, third wave feminist, excuse me, of it's the patriarchy, poor me, you're all out to get me. I'm sorry, Kathy, go ahead and go back and go perform at the Idaho State Fair, because that's about the only place that would really want to see you at this point.
Yeah.
She lost all her gigs now.
She has everything.
It's very interesting, though, because you wouldn't expect, like, because that's what everyone on the left has been trying to do. They're trying to promote, like, outrage towards Trump to the point where they're promoting, like, the idea of Trump assassination. So it's interesting to me to see her actually have gotten fired, but I'm sure that there's just some other motives for it. So
well, ADT pulled their advertising off from CNN because of it. So they lost a major advertising contract because of it. That's
I wouldn't be surprised if they're just like, all right, no, this is too far. You can't just fucking do that. Pull.
Well, because that's not even just straight up satire. That's just, I mean, I've watched some videos of Judge Napolitano talking about stuff like that, and he says that you can not threaten the life of the president, and you could probably interpret that as a threat, and that's probably against the law. It's not just like straight up satire. It's not like a bad joke. That could be, like, you know, especially with the tension as high as it. That's a very, maybe not credible, but it's a very prominent threat.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with that. I think while it is very, very distasteful and disgraceful, it's not a believable threat. I mean, sure, it's
yeah, I can see what you mean.
But come on, who really believes that Kathy Griffin is gonna cut off Trump's head?
Kathy Griffin, that's who.
Yeah, the thing with
I don't think so. Not even her. No.
The thing is,
she tells herself that, but she's like, I'm just a washed-up D-list comedian.
You know, I didn't buy her. I thought that, you know, maybe she was apprehensive going into it because that apology came way too quickly.
Yeah.
Like it was like the perfect scripted apology, and it came right away. Like, you don't get to have an apology prepared so that you can do something outrageous and then take it back right away. Like, you still have to pay the consequences for doing something like that. You know, you can't just get out of it.
I think one of the funniest things is that, you know, an unplanned side effect of this was she unwittingly brought together both sides in essentially almost defending Trump, because there was seemingly from both sides for the most part, universal condemnation of this. And it's like, okay, that didn't work out the way I want. I thought it would be kind of, funny and split stuff, but all it did was bring essentially for the few times around Trump where everyone was in agreement, like, okay, no, you went over the line. That was too much.
At the same time, I don't know, but I would doubt the whole Barron Trump story. But
Kinda, yeah. Like,
say it's a lie. A little thing like that is nothing compared to what she did. So it works in this situation. No one's going to turn around and be like, Trump's a big liar for saying this about Barron, because everyone's focused on the Kathy Griffin thing. Like,
yeah.
And honestly, I almost to me, where that reeks as truth is, I don't think Trump would be as a person would be quick to admit that his child, that he would fake a story that his child was traumatized or something like that. I don't, because that would be something that the left would do, and I don't think he would make.
I mean, is it too hard to believe that the kid's watching TV and then the picture comes up and he sees a picture of his dad's head severed? And then the kid freaks out. Is that too hard to believe?
Well, do you think Barron Trump is watching the news? I mean, it happened on Twitter. Like,
it could have been on the news channel. He's probably sitting there watching news with his mom or something. Because, mom or someone older is watching news and the kid has nothing else to do. I've been 9 years old. I've had to watch news and I didn't want to, so I'm sitting there bored. So imagine you're sitting there bored and you want to do something else, and next thing you know, you're seeing this picture of this woman holding your dad's head up. You're obviously going to freak out. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's not that much of a stretch to believe.
But that's also interesting because it's not disprovable. So, I mean, like, it works. I think Trump's like a mad genius. I think that he's like.
You think you're really banking on the 4D chess story, aren't you?
I really am.
Yeah.
Well, what did he write? What was it called? A book called The Art of the Deal?
Yeah.
Maybe he's just like pulling some tricks from that. I don't fucking know. Except maybe he's like reworking it. The Art of the Presidency by Donald Trump.
The Art of Politics.
There you go.
I mean, he started it during the campaign.
Speaking of the Art of the Deal, the whole people are freaking out also about withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement, and people honestly, I've seen a lot of people actually on Facebook making posts like, "Can anyone tell me any good reasons for pulling out of the climate agreement?" I'm like, they're very simple, and here they are. Like, but people act like it's like this perfect thing that know enough about it. But
they just hear climate like that's a bad thing. We have to prevent that. It's like, no, there's a lot of. Stop it. Get some help.
Just to put that up and probably garner a lot of hate for us. Actually, there's been studies that saying that all the CO2 has actually been good for the atmosphere because it's promoted more plant life growth.
Right.
Like right now, we have more trees than we've ever had on Earth in like the last, 200 to 1,000 years or some BS.
No shit?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, with higher carbon content makes like plant life, grow larger. That's what I've heard.
And to add to that, there's also the another study, or the same one, I forget what, but they say that the more plant life there is, the more that the plant life helps cool down global temperature.
Huh.
I don't know how accurate that is, but that's just what I've seen on the net.
I've seen the same, and I've looked a bit into it, and it looked pretty looked like a good study, scientifically conducted.
Yeah, I mean it looks scientific to me and all, but
yeah, no, it's just it's also just good to see Trump keeping his promises, and that was, and everyone, Crowder, Ben Shapiro, that's like, they're like, this is excellent, so. But since we're in between topics, are you guys paying attention to the chat? Because if you guys, we'll try to bring up some.
I think. Well, roaming millennial was in there to start
with.
What?
She's in there right now.
She's still in here right now, but she started off with.
And she's offering some high dollar for her feet, man.
Yeah, but let me tell you, she started off with a request. She wants us to show our feet.
Yeah, she wants our
And,
feet.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Wait till we get.
So
super-
who's going forward with that?
Here's a foot roaming.
Oh, jeez.
There we go.
Dude, you can't give that stuff away for free. I
You
mean,
guys
Hey,
gotta wait till we
Wait,
get.
Hey, I'm the
that's
cheap
what
seats,
I
man.
was going to say. We had one now. If anyone wants to see more, you have to wait until we have 1,000 subscribers and we can get super chat.
Exactly. Wait till we get 1,000 subs first, and then we'll start.
One was the teaser right now from Dr.
Yeah.
Manhattan.
That's
You
just
get
a
to
good,
see
in good
all
faith.
this. Ooh, black sock. It's more.
That's just
And
to
if
show
we-
that.
if we-
That's just in good
Hey,
faith. To show
hey,
that we're willing.
I just cleaned off all the calluses.
Wait.
boys.
Oh, is it smooth as a baby's bottom?
Oh,
It's
man.
so smooth.
And I think, I mean, I cannot speak for her, but if we get to 10,000 subs, maybe Caitlin will show her feet.
All right, any
She'd have to
real
join us
comments
again
though?
first.
any real comments? Yeah.
Any real comments?
Yeah, I mean, they were mostly talking about feet.
I was gonna say if we've experienced anything from live streams, is that generally the chat is just a bunch of shit posting.
Oh yeah.
And apparently your feet get an "oh baby" from roaming their Dr. Manhattan.
In all caps, no less.
So
not-
way to way to
I didn't
just
bring that chat.
way to just pimp yourself out.
Hey. Hey, one if you got it, right?
Right?
Okay, so I guess we're done with that now. But we were going to talk to our resident Englishman, but to talk about the London Bridge attack and the general opinion that's circulating in England right now. But he's not here. He might be here later, but just in case, let's start. We are going to talk about these Islamic attacks, but instead of England, let's start off with either the one in Philippines or the German festival being evacuated. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, we have a German here, so I'm voting German.
All right, go with that.
All right. So in the biggest music festival in Germany is called Rock am Ring. It takes place at the famous motorsport venue of the Nürburgring, and 90,000 people usually attend. And it was evacuated Friday evening because of a terror warning. The whole site, all 90,000 people that were there, have been evacuated, and 3 people have been arrested, and then after some interrogation, been let go. They were security employees, at least one of which has ties to the radical Islamist scene. And reports say that the warning got triggered because the names on the staff passes didn't match the names of the people wearing it. So when they were trying to get their employee pass, their staff, their personnel pass, and they had to show that they are who they are, it didn't match. And that's how it started, and that's what got off the warning. Rammstein, you might know them. They would have been the headliners for Friday evening. They did not play, and it was not. They did not play yesterday or today, so completely fell. Completely, their at least their part completely got canceled.
And what's like the population of Germany? Because 90,000 people there—that's like putting a halt to the whole culture. That's like, that's a pretty big deal.
Well, the whole population of Germany is 82 million.
Okay, so that's a lot more than I thought. But
we're not that small. It's just that we don't have a lot of space. Like the U.S. is in terms of space, very very large. But in Germany, it's all pretty dense. But 90,000 is what the venue takes. I mean, if it was possible, I mean, those ticket prices, I mean, they range from like 100 euros up.
Damn.
Like, that's the cheapest ticket. I mean,
So this is pretty much
if the venue could take it, there would be, I don't know, 250, 300,000 people. At
Yeah,
least.
so that's a pretty big
That's a
impact.
substantial amount. Yeah.
Yeah, to have that postponed, that's like having the Super Bowl postponed for like
Yeesh.
For a day. I mean, they restarted the whole thing, or restarted. They continued the next day after the interrogation, and that seems like nothing actually was happening there. But still pretty big thing, and the organizer, yeah, I hope that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Actually held a press conference that evening, Friday evening, and I gotta look that up. He said some tough things.
Some tough things, guys.
Yeah.
Tough things.
Shut up.
Are we talking about tough things?
Well, I was going to say, are we talking tough as in he actually called out the...
He called something out, yeah.
Okay.
He said, I want to see protests against the perpetrators. I haven't seen any Muslims here that went on the street by tens of thousands and said, "What the fuck are you doing there?"
Yeah.
Okay.
And he also said, I have to look at it. He said something like, we should stop with all this crap with this is not my Islam, and this is not my shit, and this is not my whatever.
Right.
And he got some heat from the mainstream media for it. But if you look at social media, he got praised big time.
Good.
Very good.
So since you're in Germany, I guess do you talk a lot of people? What do you perceive as the common or mood or opinion going around in Germany right now towards like well, I know you just had an election. Wait, no, that was I'm thinking no. You didn't have an election.
We will have one in September.
You're about to have one. All right. So like what do you think is like the circulating opinion on Islam and like open borders and
I think we're seeing it changing. We're seeing it going more into a more right-wing stance. We're seeing more and more people actually understanding what the political Islam is about, what kind of threat we're facing, and the tide is turning basically. So we'll see. It will take some time.
Like there's still some people who are just like, it's a great idea, and the rest of them are like, not so much, guys.
So who's Merkel's opponent, and like what are the other views?
The rest of the free world.
No, please no. All right. Merkel's only opponent with any chance whatsoever, is Martin Schulz.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a social democrat, which is even
as opposed to
further on the left,
Democrat.
even further on the left than Merkel, which is a tough thing to do. I mean, it's not that easy to be further on the left than her, but he manages to do it, and I'm totally unprepared. But he also I think he took to Twitter when the what was it? Damn it! He said it was not on Twitter, but he said in terms of the Paris agreement, the withdrawal from the U.S. He said, if the U.S. are going to withdraw from the Paris Agreement, we're going to withdraw from the NATO agreement of the 2% defense spending. Well, he said if he becomes chancellor, I want to see that.
Withdraw from NATO.
I mean, I want to have a plan to leave the country as fast as possible, but I kind of want to see that just to see how that would work out. I mean, if he really says we're not gonna fulfill this 2% goal, and we have no intention to do so, why would he expect the U.S. or any other nation that is part of NATO to help Germany defend itself if there is a threat?
Jeez.
I was so. I mean, this guy could become the next German chancellor. Right now, it's not looking good. There was a big hype when he got elected by his party. People were talking about the Schulz train.
Yeah.
And then the Social Democrats lost one state election. Then they lost the second state election. Then they lost the third state election in the biggest state of Germany. And, that train is no longer on the, how do you say, it's derailed? Is that how you say it?
The train's gone off the rails.
Yeah. That the Schultz train has gone off the rails, and it's looking more like.
Okay.
It's looking more like we're having. How can you say it? We're about to have a coalition of the Christian Democrats, so Merkel, and the Free Democrats, which are first of all, they're the party I am in. And I am a part of, but I hope that they can bring at least some policy into that if they win. I mean, nothing's safe at this point,
right?
But if they win, if we have a Christian Democrat, Free Democrat coalition. There might be some changes. The Free Democrats are advocating, unfortunately, they're not advocating closing the borders, not even temporarily, but they're advocating for an immigration law. We currently do have some laws, but they want to have it fixed so the refugee status cannot be misused anymore. They want to enforce deportations of people who don't have the refugee status.
Okay.
So if that goes into effect, there's at least some salvation.
I guess we should say hi to Jacob there.
What up, dude?
No, we shouldn't.
Man.
No, you shouldn't.
Oh, sorry. Fuck that guy.
I will. I guess we should move on. I guess we should wait until the election gets a little bit closer.
Oh yeah.
But, if we want to move on, Ven, you want to talk about the Philippine thing?
Sure. I mean,
just like the rundown on what happened, and then we'll talk about the London Bridge.
Yeah. So crazy stuff. ISIS is essentially in ISIS or in Philippines. Man, I can't speak. I'm out of coffee. I apologize.
Covfefe.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
So what it started out is you guys know the Philippine president. He's been kind of controversial and whatnot, and there was a military raid into this city to get this terrorist guy, and the terrorists were pretty much prepared for it, and they basically took the city from him. And so they've got like a whole region on lockdown, and the army's trying to take it back. And they're flying the ISIS flag and everything. Kind of a shit rundown there.
Yeah. Shitty.
Yeah.
Not the rundown, just the situation. I mean.
Yeah. So right now he's fighting for that, and there's a lot of people, from ISIS and Islamists and whatnot, since they're losing in Iraq and Afghanistan and such right now. A lot of them are now fleeing to that area, and they're setting up shop there, or at least that's the fear. So, yeah, that's about all I've got. Unless you guys want to go into the details, then I don't even remember most of them.
It's kind of just disappointing that so much is happening that we can't keep track of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the only thing where people are focusing on is the big stories, like the London Bridge, but there's like other stuff happening. But
Yeah.
I guess everyone right now is talking about the London Bridge, so I guess we might as well just move on to that. I guess Matt's not going to be able to make it in time, but
Can I just put in a short fact?
Mhm.
We're now in Ramadan, which is the Islamic.
Holy month.
So everybody eat pork all the
Yeah.
fucking time.
First off, everybody eat pork, or
Drink coffee,
pork,
eat
basically.
pork. You know,
Bacon. I hear bacon is fucking.
Bacon, I'll do. I'm not gonna eat. I'm not. just
Anyway,
gonna eat the
during Ramadan, we're now at day 9. We already had 46 terrorist attacks in the name of Islam in the world, and 510 people died from them.
well, you also have people going into stores like knocking over like bottles of like wine and stuff because it's alcohol during Ramadan. And so it's
Actually, on that one, Mark, that was a comedian that did that like 2 years ago.
but I thought I saw a few videos though.
No, it got circulated around again. The same comedian went into restaurants telling people they shouldn't be eating because it's Ramadan. So unfortunately, that was a stage thing. That wasn't someone.
Multiple
At least the one video that was being circulated.
I'm just reading about a story that just happened today. A 41-year-old Muslim. Well, we don't know if he's a refugee or not, but he was applying for refugee status. Stabbed a 5-year-old child
today.
today here in Germany, in Bavaria.
Well, back to what we were saying. I guess I need a fake news button, but I have seen multiple stories, so that I think that there might have happened, but I can't say conclusively. So I guess we'll just move on. But so anyway, from what I heard about the Truck of Peace in London Bridge, 7 dead. Like what was it, like 32 or some odd number injured?
48.
48. Yeah. So it was a Truck of Peace and knives. It was 3 people.
You have no idea how hard it is not to sing Saitan's song right now. Every time you say Truck of Peace, it's just like. Sorry, continue. I just wanted to say that.
No, I mean, I have some friends. I guess I'll just speak in place of Matt because I communicate once in a while with a friend from England, and a year or 2 ago when I first knew them, they were heavily influenced by the establishment education.
Right.
And it's interesting because I hadn't talked to her in a while, and then once I talked to her again, she was like right on top of things, and she's like, this is like really bad for us, and it's not safe. So I don't have a popular opinion of what's going on in England, but just based on that anecdote, like I think that people, at least the citizenry, are starting to question the government's policies, but they're not going to have any kind of revolution because they're disarmed.
Mhm.
There's no way that the citizens can take back their borders. It's all up to the government, and it's a handful of people that are like, let them in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how many more attacks are we going to get before someone says, yeah, we actually do need to rebel because this is getting really bad really quickly, and our government's not going to take care of this.
Yeah,
they don't have that. Yeah, like they no longer have that sense of,
I feel like any discussion around this is a rinse and repeat from what we said last week about the Manchester attack. I mean, it's, okay, hashtag whatever, London mayor grabbing his ankles, bending over, and then
Pants down.
and again, okay, not all Muslims. Okay, then where's the support from the Muslim community to help prevent this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can see it when you watch the Al Jazeera live streams. You see the laughter reactions on Facebook all the time.
And this is
on that.
Something that's pretty obvious, but ISIS did claim responsibility. Just an FYI.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm trying to think of what his name is, but there was an imam that I think he lives in the UK, and Blair White tweeted him out saying, "Hey, look, he's actually calling a spade a spade." It's like, all right, we got one.
Yeah,
we need about
Imam Tawhidi, and he had a UK flag in his Twitter name, but he's actually living in Australia and working with the Australian government.
Cool.
Tweety, he must be pro 420.
Oh God.
Oh, come on. That's haram.
Every day.
From what I hear, the Germans.
Oh no.
Yeah, Germany.
Nah.
Right, their government, they're like encouraging their citizens rather than suggesting that all the immigrants need to conform to their culture and to integrate into their culture. They're demanding that the German citizens integrate into the culture of the people.
That's not how it works, Germany.
So, no, but what you're going to have happen then, I mean, that's kind of sad when you think, like, what do you guys think of when you think of German culture? Like sausages and the funny little houses and
World War II.
That's actually exactly what I think of.
And, it's like German culture. It's the funny little houses and it's, the beer and all that. And they're really they're saying, just wipe all that away, all their culture, all their history in favor of the people coming in. And
that's what's going on in Sweden too.
By the time people wake up.
Can I just say something about that? There are for sure politicians who advocate for that, but it's not the it's not the whole of Germany that thinks so. It's not even the government that advocates for that. It's like some politicians in the parliament, of course. Sorry,
of course,
my Dang Uger moment. But they're just some leftist fringes. I mean, you always have those. You even have those in the U.S. You have some people saying, "Oh, we must tolerate them," and
unfortunately, those leftist fringes have the biggest platforms and get the most playtime on the media because they're preaching, inclusion and
same in Germany, but we're not
there's also those
different.
fringes who I don't know if they are fringes saying that they should allow communists to run the California government, and I'm just like, no, do not make California even more obvious.
California.
Yeah, that's the nickname for us because we're such fucking.
That's nice.
I'm kind of jumping off topic here, but I got to do this. Okay, Ryan.
Yeah.
All right, you're in school, right? High school.
I am, yeah.
All right. Do your teachers comment at all on immigration? Do they try to cram propaganda into you, or do you live in a better area?
I'm in Canada.
So he's never in a better area.
But no, never. I mean, we hardly learn about it at all. I really can't recall a time I really have at all, ever.
Really?
In my 11 years, no. Of going to school.
So I guess most people in Canada then just relying on.
Yeah, I
mainstream
on Twitter. That's basically it, right? But no, I'm trying to think of a time, but no, not really.
But so I guess I guess Canada doesn't really have a whole lot to do with. They haven't had many terrorist attacks that I can recall. Right. So what's the popular opinion over there by you?
Sorry, what?
So what's the popular opinion over by you?
Trudeau is great.
Red
I don't know about Newfoundland. But,
remember, if you kill them, they win.
Then let's have them win then.
Sorry, Ryan, go on.
It's very similar to the Canadian government, federal government, over here in Newfoundland. Right.
I'm sorry, Newfoundland, is that on the eastern side?
It's the most east province.
Okay, so it's above Maine.
It's like the opposite. It's not above you. There's nothing really under it.
Oh, okay.
Water.
We're talking in direction.
Water, yeah.
So much.
I mean, it's northeast. So basically, if you kept going from
northeast,
Maine, yeah, northeast of Maine. Okay,
right. That's probably our closest state.
The only Canadian geography I know is Nova Scotia. That's like,
Yeah.
and that's just
That's the closest
Quebec.
province.
I know. I barely know Quebec. I'm like, where's it at? Oh, it's the French people.
So I almost wonder if then, Ryan, because maybe, and I hate to do this, maybe, your area is kind of, as far as in the States, where the middle of the country is the Rust Belt, where most of our SJW is on the coasts. Maybe yours is more central, Toronto, Montreal.
Honestly, I don't
Yeah,
know
where
much
the
about
cities
it,
are. It's
but,
always where the cities are.
Yeah.
I'd say not Montreal, but
Not Montreal.
maybe the West.
Which would make
but I'm not really
sense.
sure. I really don't pay attention to it here that much.
Well, I mean, that's somewhat encouraging that it's not.
Right.
completely-
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that far from Seattle to Vancouver, so I assume that there's some
Of course, where you are,
ideological
at this point, so-
similarities.
And going off of the, I was asking a question about school. We kind of got off, but the next story that we had to talk about was the Evergreen State College situation.
Oh man!
And Matt Christensen makes really good videos. If you guys haven't already known that, but he,
Please be kind to him and don't annoy him with stupid football bullshit. Minding.
See, now I have to explain it because you brought it up. Come on.
No, let's go on. Let's continue on the other subject.
Okay.
so basically,
That's
he
an inside
did
joke.
a really good summary of what happened. Stan could do another one, but so we only got a few more minutes. We could talk about like what we think that this whole story means for us. But if you haven't already seen, I think Minding put it in the video description, the link. But you should watch that
It's the
video.
first link.
Yeah, it's a quick.
Yeah, I think for me, I did do a little research here on it, and some of a couple of points, that I did want to definitely bring up as I'm looking at the final statement and some of the demands that the students are making, and I mean, demand one: we demand that no changes to the student code of conduct be made without democratic student consent. So they are requiring that the college say, this is how you need to act, but we need to vote on it and we need to approve it.
And you guys are talking about where all the students held those people in basically in the meeting room,
Yes.
right? When they were,
Yes.
That, I would be, if I was one of
Okay.
those teachers, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm
It-
leaving
it-
to go home to work. I'm going to walk out that door, and anyone who tries to stop me is going to get throat punched.
And
Yep.
I'd not be okay in that situation. I would be.
the tension in that room, they really would have gotten it. It seems like if he just walked out and if he wasn't at 100% maximum amount of respect that he could possibly show at that moment, they were probably gonna like tear that guy apart. They're like screaming and.
Well, you can see it in some of the videos. In fact, at one point when they finally got into a larger area, someone was screaming at George, the president, and there was a woman next to him that said, because George was saying, look, we don't need to yell. And she was saying to George, look, it's not about how they're saying, it's about what's being said. And then you go a little further into the video, and there are students who, you probably noticed I also talk with my hands a lot, who were telling George that him talking with his hands was considered aggressive and that he needed to put his hands at his side. So I'm like, I'm sorry, I thought you said it wasn't about how the message was being, but it was about the message. Just a couple more demands here that will make you scratch your heads. They want during the video, you can see at one point a police officer was trying to get through the mob to check on Professor Weinstein, and he couldn't. And according to some of the students, he pushed them out of the way. It's like, well, if you're refusing to let him go through, he has to assume there's a good reason. And they want him fired and suspended without pay. I'm like,
How about no, you crazy?
How do you fire him and suspend him without pay? Like,
It's just these students need to be told, your demands are not going to be met.
Right.
Stop
Well,
acting
he
like
actually-
spoiled little brats.
No,
a
tell them
lot
we
of
don't
them he
negotiate with
did.
terrorists.
They
I mean,
also,
the funniest demand was the one that says, "Please delete all
Oh, yeah,
video."
The video.
I'll get to that one.
Yeah, that's how the internet works. Congratulations.
I'll get to the actual requests they made. They also demand the immediate disarming of police services and no expansion of police facilities or services. This was after they then afterwards asked, "How are you protecting us?" Well, do you want to be protected, or do you want the police disarmed and essentially shut down? And then to what you were, and then there's a lot of other SJW, including we demand the creation of a position that will support undocumented students.
Oh, man.
Love that one. And then here's the one that you just brought up, Minding. We demand that the video created for Day of Absence, Day of Presence, wait for it, that was stolen by white supremacists and edited to expose and ridicule the students and staff be taken down by the administration this Friday.
One of the professors released a statement about that. I don't remember which one it was. Oh, it was probably, I think it might have been the president, right? What he said about his problem with that, and I think it was pretty reasonable what he said. He didn't have necessarily a problem with people selectively choosing to remove themselves, but when you ask people and say, no, you can't, you're not, you shouldn't be here.
Right. That
on the
you're
college
right.
campus.
You're right, Jacob. That was actually Professor Weinstein's. He didn't agree with the Day of Absence either way. He didn't agree that people leaving campus for a day was helping in any way, whether it was as it was previously the black students or in this time where they demanded the white students leave. He didn't agree with it either way. But because, once the demand was made, he's like, I don't agree with this. I'm not leaving. And that was enough to
Set them off, basically.
cause the insanity that followed.
I got something to say. I think if this whole situation isn't tangible evidence that the slippery slope argument is real, then I don't know what is, because
absolutely,
even when they met the demands, they still weren't happy, as as Matt Christensen points out. It's they wanted more, and isn't that professor, if I remember correctly, he himself is a somewhat leftist professor.
Yeah, he supported Bernie.
Progressive.
Yeah, they actually had to shut the campus down this past Friday.
Yeah, and one of the guys in the chat are saying that Brett said the right to speak or not speak should not be based on skin color.
Absolutely right. And that was another, based on the skin colors, they also demanded that more people of color be hired in professor positions. And his point was, I don't care what color your skin is. I care how good of a teacher you are.
Yeah.
So that was, I think that was part of the final straw but watching this, I'm like, these people have no grasp on reality. There's nothing that everything this president acquiesced to, it was not enough. They wanted more. And I'll be interested to see how they're, moving forward in a year or so, how their admissions look.
And all this stuff put together, I know that this is individual cases one at a time, but just if I ever needed to go back for college for something, I would probably just change my mind. I don't know where this stuff is going to happen the next, if this is what college is now, it's just like for them.
It is
it's just like some kind of weird daycare for adult babies. Like that's what it's become.
Do any of you guys listen to or watch Mike Rowe? You guys know who Mike Rowe is?
Yeah, I know.
That's what he talks about quite often. He's strongly suggesting, and now other people have taken up the call as well, that if you want a higher education, strongly consider avoiding traditional colleges and universities. Instead, go into math or science, some kind of science, and go to a technical college.
Yeah.
Specifically will train you to do what you want to do. Don't waste your time and work to get a degree that you can actually get a job with. But that's what he's really pushing for. Is Mike Rowe's big deal is that there's millions of jobs that don't require a 4-year degree that our country is in danger of not filling much needed like blue collar jobs because everyone wants to go to college. That's kind of his deal. But strongly consider going to a technical college, which I would.
Yeah, or a trade school.
Yeah, some kind of trade school.
Yeah.
I have an update from today on the whole Evergreen story. Brett Weinstein himself tweeted, and I highly recommend, you can find him at Brett Weinstein, pretty easy. He tweeted, even he is not authorized to access the faculty directory, even though he is faculty. So it seems like they deny him access to certain pages on the intranet, on the college intranet, the faculty pages.
And
So
again,
it seems like there is. It seems to me like the firing is rather imminent.
See, and again, this is not a right-wing professor. This is like one of their own, but
Yeah, it's Bernie supporter.
That's the thing. I think this plays into intersectionalism. What do they call it? Intersectionality.
Yeah.
This is something that Christina Summers has talked about. The problem with this kind of ideology, it's kind of a Marxist ideology that kind of grows into intersectionality. It's cannibalistic. It tears itself apart. It's very
viral too. It infects everything that it gets near.
The very concept of it divides people up into little groups and then pits the groups against one another, and then they tear themselves apart, and it inevitably destroys it. And that's,
so maybe
that's the only hope we have.
Yeah, maybe in the future, like it's not so much that conservatives will, well, they probably will, but not just that conservatives are going to increase in number, but also that the other sides are going to be tiny little niche communities that don't agree with one another. So it's like half it's a pile of shit, and the other half is like actually got its stuff together.
That's, you see, some of these lefties, left side, they start eating each other. To out.
Not literally.
No. Well, give it
I'm
time.
sure at some point it'll get there, but
where it's, well, I'm more oppressed than you.
Yeah.
The oppression competition. So
oppression Olympics, as
they work together until, well, you kind of saw it with Kathy Griffin. It's like, okay, we like you. Oh, sorry, you've crossed the imaginary line that we're willing to accept. So you're out of the club.
But she actually crossed the line. Come on.
Well, yeah, no, definitely.
I'm completely fine with her being excluded.
It wasn't a joke either.
Yeah,
well, you saw it with I believe it was last year in Toronto, where Black Lives Matter took over the gay rights parade.
Oh man!
And and now
they did it up in Canada too.
Gay police are not allowed to march in the gay rights parade because they're not
always
gay.
Yeah.
Enough.
Always remember
because like the
Linda Starsword took over the women's march.
Yeah, I don't understand it. But keep letting them do it because they'll just completely implode on themselves if they keep it up. So that's fine.
Yeah. Now it makes you wonder if it's going to be worse than like any religious schism ever was, or however you say that particular word.
Schisms, I think, is right. Yeah.
Because the religious schisms are pretty messy. Gotta imagine what this one's going to be like.
Oh yeah. God,
well, yeah, that's basically the wrap up of the week. Is I don't know, it's dang stuff going on. And it's I bet next week's gonna be just as interesting with. And how long is Ramadan? Because if it's
a whole month.
It's a whole month.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna.
It's like 40 days, or no, that's Lent, isn't it?
All right, so how many Take a guess at how many attacks do you think there's going to be in the next week that we're going to have to talk about next week?
Ooh, joy. Let's.
I bet you there's going to be at least one per week by the end of the month, or one per day.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I just looked it up. Ramadan is over June 24th.
Oh.
So we got some time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet you
we are at day 9 currently. So.
And how many attacks have we had total?
46, if I remember correctly.
In just this month?
Just Ramadan, yeah. The 9 days.
We're already beat my prediction. Woo!
I mean, at the end, we'll probably get to 150. At this rate.
Oh, yeah.
It will be 150.
That's amateur numbers, man.
With at least 1,500 people dead.
Oh, hey, Matt Christensen's watching, apparently.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey.
Reported
for Islamophobia. Yeah, I mean, you can't demonetize us.
We don't even have 40 subscribers. We're already demonetized.
Now we're not going to make 3 pennies.
You know, I really have to, and I had hoped to ask Matt from Britain about this. You have to wonder how much longer before Britain boils over, you know, where you start seeing massive marches in the streets of people saying what you're doing is not enough. You know, okay, religion of peace, whatever. Well, you know, we can't go out to dinner without worrying about having our throats slashed. Our kids can't go to concerts without worrying about getting blown up. We can't walk down the street without thinking that white truck is about to turn onto the sidewalk and hit the gas.
Well, for a while there, wasn't there like the alt-right in the United States is different from the alt-right over in Europe? Their alt-right or their right is different from ours?
It's not necessarily anymore.
Wasn't their alt-right like really starting to bolster and kind of like become more active and kind of push back against?
I mean,
for a while,
I have done a video on this topic. What is similar to the alt-right in the U.S. is called the identitarians in Europe. Mm-hmm. And they have started to go full vigilante justice in Europe. And Lauren Southern joined them just a few weeks ago.
At the same time, that's a symptom of, you know, the government not doing anything for the people.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I mean,
it's an unfortunate side of that.
I feel like what the governments might do is just put up like concrete columns that keep cars from going off the road. Instead of getting people out, they're just going to put up like safety measures, like little stupid stuff like that.
I mean, that's exactly what they did in Germany. Come on.
There you go.
After the attack on the Christmas market, what they did was put up big concrete, I don't know what to call it, barriers. So that not another truck can drive onto the Christmas market, and that's all they did.
Jeez, you know, the next step for the truck of peace is to get a high rise or whatever.
I think the next step would be a plane of peace or a helicopter of peace.
Fireworks of peace.
I guess we'll find out.
I think
in the air with my gun of peace.
Come on. I think there's unfortunately only one way that the tide is fully turning. And I hate to say this, and I hope it never happens, but I think that would be let's call it a European 9/11.
Oh.
Like something that big, that horrible.
Yeah, to make people wake up and be like, hey, okay, this is bad.
Yeah. I think this is the only way that Europeans start to... So
you're saying we have to erect a couple twin towers and just play, like, bait?
There are some cities in Europe that do have some high buildings. Not necessarily in Germany. The highest buildings in Germany are in Frankfurt, the only... city in Germany with an actual skyline.
Right.
Berlin doesn't have one, weirdly enough. But London has a
Berlin's probably afraid of just something getting shot with a tank round that exploded again.
And you know,
no, it's Germany's it's Berlin's history. I mean, half of the city is former Eastern Germany.
Well, my
They don't
World
build
War II
high.
joke just fucking died.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
well, yeah. Also, like France had to like finally gate off the Eiffel Tower. I heard so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't follow up on that, but I saw a story about that. Either they were thinking about it or they actually did it. But yeah, they got to protect the landmarks because I guess those would be the first to go.
See, I think the tide in France might be turning. I mean, the Tour de France is coming up, which is always a big event there. Of course, it's the biggest cycling competition in the world.
Bike a piece.
And the last stage is always ending on the Champs-Élysées, the biggest road, the biggest street of Paris. And if something happens there, that might lead to the French waking up. I really I'm a big fan of the Tour de France.
When did you say it was?
Doesn't happen. What the street?
Yeah, when did you say the Tour de France is?
It's in July, I think. I'm not sure. Damn it! It's either now in June or I think it's July. Yeah, it's starting July 1st.
All right. Well, so I guess that's
ending July 23rd on the Champs-Élysées in Paris.
And it sucks because like I don't watch that, but people that want to be involved in stuff like that, they can't even just watch in leisure anymore. They're going to be on edge. Is something going to happen? You can't just enjoy stuff.
They're basically just going to be waiting for like a
go
Boston
there.
Marathon type scenario.
Yeah, you can't go there. I mean, usually the last stage and when the riders are entering the Champs-Élysées, it's a 70 no, sorry, it's a 1.9 kilometer long street, so way over a mile, and there are like tens of thousands of people waiting for the final sprint. This is a big thing, and I really hope nothing happens. But it's the perfect event for Islamists to target.
Yeah, it's part of French. It's part of French culture, so of course it's going to be targeted.
That's a deep part of French culture.
Because that's a huge part of what the Islamists are going after is our cultures rather than anything else.
Why else would they attack an Ariana Grande concert? No, it is culture.
It's not an attack on attack on culture. I mean, that's kids. It's not adults. It's not anything really like political. It's an attack on kids, killing little kids.
Yeah,
well, and Ariana is also represents everything from a female perspective that they hate.
Yeah,
I mean she flaunts everything pretty much, so they can't have that.
And then she says she supports them. So that's probably what they're really pissed off about.
Yeah, of course.
We got this person as an ally.
Yeah, so I guess we'll close it out now. But if you guys are watching, we'd like to have any feedback, so leave some comments in the chat below. We're still new, so any feedback will help, and we might be doing some new video series soon with just random talks, and so just stay tuned and
some guests.
Yeah, we'll try to have guests as well. So subscribe to us, subscribe to Roaming Millennial, and coming up next, if you're watching live, is Matt Christensen, Beauty and the Beta. So I highly recommend watching that if you haven't already been watching. But most of our subscribers probably already do, because we're in that grace period right now where we're still learning and we have a small
we can still make mistakes and nobody will call us out on our shit, basically.
Yeah. So
you guys are shit.
I mean, I will.
Well, yeah,
man, that's the spirit.
And especially at the beginning.
Sorry, we don't have German efficiency minding.
And at the
Well,
beginning,
I mean, we've got the German in here, so we should have it. And since we don't have that German,
Yeah, right. We should be
Minding's doing a terrible job.
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
fucking asshole.
It's all because you don't want to learn.
so especially at the beginning when you have less subscribers, each subscriber is very valuable. So we'll definitely listen to your guys' opinions. So just to, leave some comments, how we can improve or what you think, and I guess we'll close it for tonight, right? Unless anyone's got something else to say. But
shout out to Matt for actually popping in and being like, "Hey, how's it going?" So that was kind of cool.
And roaming, of course.
Yeah, I thought you
Roaming
were
for
totally kidding
tweeting
about
us
saying,
out.
"Oh, baby," earlier
Did she pop into the video earlier, or was she just popping
in the chat.
Yeah, she was in chat. She tweeted us out and everything.
Yep.
She pimped us out.
Hey,
That's what
guys.
it is.
Everybody, subscribe so you can see more feed action.
Oh, put the feet down.
That's the real reason why she
I
pimped
see,
us out. To show her
I see
feet.
the numbers dropping right now.
I mean, we've got the feet, and then we've got Ryan in here, and then we'll get the pedophiles who want underage feet. We can't go down that road.
Underage? Wait,
Stan, you're talking from
All
an
right.
experience standpoint here?
Absolutely.
60-year-old.
What are you, pedophobia?
I am pedophobic. Yes, absolutely.
Gosh, man, what does YouTube talk to? We got
All right,
pedophobes, guy.
get us to 1,000 subs, and we'll see what roads we go down. All right.
Oh,
We're not going down London Bridge.
Most of us is going to be falling down here pretty soon.
Right?
Yeah, I will not travel, and I don't foresee traveling if this is how Europe goes. So
Yeah.
I really won't go to London. All right. Well, everyone, you guys have a good night.
Actually,
Yeah.
real quick in closing here, I want to share this.
Motherfucker!
Hang on. Oh, damn it. I can't. Never mind.
Come on!
screenshot?
Hang on. Screen share.
Welcome to
Yeah,
Rovertime
same.
Overtime.
I went to the YouTube link and I popped out the YouTube chat and I have it just sitting next to our chat here in the Google Hangout, so you can just see them
Same.
both.
Yeah.
Do the same thing. I was like trying to struggle with it, and I figured it out.
All right, Stan, you found it, or are you good?
Oh, I thought I put it up.
I'll
Go,
put one
go.
up.
No, I don't see it.
You got to screen share it.
Yep, I did. Entire screen. Okay.
Ah, okay, there you go.
Not.
Saw it for a second. Oh god.
All
Oh,
right, I'm gonna leave it on that screen. So, all right.
yeah. Oh, yeah, right there.
All right. Everyone have a great night.
Right.
Good night.
Oh my